Hey there, YouTube. We're going to do, well, it's a drama video to be honest, but it's an interesting phenomenon for me to watch. And that is, of course, the continued decline of T-Rex arms. Yeah, I'm kind of seeing they're continuing to kind of get saltier about what's going on. The public hasn't let up on them a whole lot, um, you know, and we'll talk about that. But the most interesting piece of news is we finally kind of got something from Brandon Wambaugh. That's you guys know him as the Temu Lucas Botkin. That what the other part of the Botkins, like the asshat cabal of Botkins, um, that's what they've kind of slid in there and replaced Lucas with. So he put out a statement on social media. I reposted it. I thought it was interesting. We should talk about it, see what you guys have to say. So the question that he's answering, why did you stay with T-Rex? All right. Now, before I read his answer, I'm just going to tell you, like, I heard that I heard a few things, but I heard it wasn't really an option for him to go with Lucas. And that makes sense from Lucas's perspective. Like if Brandon Wambaugh's your on camera talent, like, well, obviously it's not working out great. He's whatever. He's just kind of boring. Like, I'm not trying to be an asshole. He's just kind of boring to watch, and you're just like, okay. So he's not. I don't think he brings much to the table for Lucas. And I heard that I heard the other brothers are paying a few people a lot more money. So I don't really think it made sense at any point for Wombat to leave. He's got a way better opportunity for him if he stays at T-Rex and tries to slide into those shoes, which it's not working. I'll be clear. I don't think it's working that well. I don't think the public likes it, but it makes sense for him to at least try. And they're probably paying him a bunch more money. All right. So for him, I think it makes no sense for him to leave T-Rex. I think he should be doing what he's doing. He should be doing it better. But fundamentally staying there and making content and that type of shit, that totally makes sense for him. And it would make no sense for him to go with Lucas to do whatever else Lucas is going to do. I mean, that wouldn't make sense from Lucas's perspective at all because he has himself and he has Brantley. Brantley can shoot like crazy. Lucas is kind of more fun, more interesting as far as a personality. It doesn't make sense. So that's my read on it before I read what Brandon said. Okay, he gave 4 reasons why he's staying at T-Rex. All right, I was not going to support a deliberate marketing plan that intentionally brought private matters into the public forum with the intent of publicly humiliating family and friends, especially when that information was done so by playing the victim and told from a one-sided narrative that is filled with blatant lies. Now, I mean, I get what he's saying there with Lucas leaving. It puts his brothers in a bad spot. Any story that Lucas tells is going to it's going to not make his brothers look good. Anything his brothers say, like anything real that they go and actually address issues, it'll look like they're shitting on Lucas. But the reality is, there's really no other way to do it. Like, these guys are doing a divorce effectively, and they've got a bunch of employees and they have a big social media following. So it's going to be a messy divorce, pretty much no matter what they do. So it's like, I mean, I don't agree. I don't really agree that either side is like flagrantly lying here. I don't think they're going out saying things that are provably untrue. It's like lies of omission, and that, maybe. I think that's more coming from the Brandon side of this. And then I think it's like the way things are framed. I think it's mostly how they frame issues or how they talk around issues. They want to leave you with a certain impression. So it's like, I don't think that Lucas is fundamentally being dishonest, but then again, he's not, I think his attitude's more like, well, my brother started talking first, so no, I'm going to answer him. Now I'm going to fire back. But again, when they split up like this was always going to happen. There's always going to be like a thing. I don't think that's really avoidable. All right, number 2, I'm not going to support lies, double standards, or anyone who is intentionally divisive and deliberately tears other people down for the simple sake of building himself up. Uh, and I'm never going to support somebody who demands blind loyalty at the cost of my own integrity. who is completely different behind closed doors. Okay, so this is what I mean. So he's kind of posturing like he's not being insulting or whatever, like he's such a good person. But at the same time, he's running Lucas through the mud quite clearly, making all these accusations about like what type of person Lucas is, and he's divisive, he's tearing other people down. Well, bro, get a mirror. Like that's what you're doing right now. um, and there's no sauce. Like there's nothing really specific to it. I don't think they can get Lucas for lying or for really for double standards. Like I'm not sure how that plays. And then the other thing is like, well, let's apply this to like, well, Isaac or or like creepy David, for example. You don't think these guys are demanding blind loyalty? I think they are. I think they. We heard from the one interview the guys that worked at T-Rex in some low-level capacity making holsters, and then we're talking about how Colonel Sleepy acted and shit like that. What those guys said makes sense to me. I wouldn't be shocked if this is true, where they're trying to hire guys that they can mold, that they can make into their little flock of sheep. I just think that's the culture that those guys fostered. Like I'm talking the asshat Bodkins. I think that's what they fostered over at T-Rex. Um, all right. Number three is number three. There's nothing I hate more than somebody who uses their platform to vaguely proclaim a faith in Christ that is most likely not genuine with the intention of making people think they stand on a moral high ground. Like this third reason here from Brandon, this kind of reads like a confession. Like if you're kind of reading, you're like, let me just read this again. Somebody who uses their platform, okay, he's using his platform, vaguely proclaim a faith in Christ, okay. I mean, he's making claims of religious whatever, and it's a little vague, okay. That is more than likely not genuine. Okay, nothing Brandon is posting comes off as really genuine to me, with the intention of making people think they stand on a moral high ground. Well, that's clearly what Brandon's doing, is he's posturing like he has some kind of moral high ground. Again, like that third reason reads like a confession. All right. Oh, sorry, it was only three reasons. The fourth little box here wasn't numbered. Let me read the last bit here, though. I choose to be naive about things I experienced and witnessed, but thankfully I was able to get evidence of lies about this situation and many other things I was told. As painful as it has been, staying was the right thing to do. Again, like I think the pain that he's experiencing right now is having to bullshit the public that he has the moral high ground for staying there. That's where the pain's coming from. Staying there is not painful. Again, it makes sense for all parties involved that Brandon stay at T-Rex doing what he's doing. I think he should do it less shittily, but basically it all makes sense to everyone. The painful part is that he has to eat shit in a public forum because of the way that he's choosing to communicate about this. Anyway, that was just my opinion. Let's read some of your opinions. Accusing Lucas of faking his religious beliefs because they have hate boners for his wife is wild. You're not supposed to hate individual people. Try again, Reformed theologist. Okay. As Reformed, he really just should have said he was ordained by God to stay, just as Lucas was ordained by God to leave. This is the problem with the Reformed covenant crowd. They are double minded. When it's convenient for them, they believe one thing. When it's inconvenient, they believe another. It's a classic double think and double speak. Either God unchangeably ordained all things that came to pass, which he has to believe to be reformed. All right. Or he didn't, and humans actually make choices. Like, I don't know about the theology of this or exactly what sect or like what belief systems these people are saying they have. I'm just an observer here. I find how cults and their members communicate to be absolutely fascinating, not gonna lie. Okay. If you're going to take the face of a former multi-million dollar company, I definitely would expect a pay raise. I mean, that's what we all gathered from the embarrassing live stream with Focus Trip. Yeah. No, I think they doubled his pay. I do. Again, it totally makes sense for him to stay there. All this so-called evidence and none of it posted, laughing my fucking ass off. Yeah, of course. These guys always say they have the goods, but then you're like, well, where is it? Where is that shit? All right. I mean, didn't the whole T-Rex statement back up everything Lucas said? I think, yeah, kind of. It didn't, I mean, they didn't say that they like agreed with Lucas, but it didn't contradict anything Lucas said. And then if you watch like Lucas's statement about why he left and all that stuff, and then you look at the brothers kind of telling their side of the story, I think most reasonable people that don't really give a shit one way or the other would watch that and be like, yeah, I think these brothers are dicks. I don't really like them, and I would be happy if I was Lucas to be out of there. Um, Regardless, not giving him a pay rise would be immoral, in my opinion. I actually agree with that. They should pay him more money for all the shit he's eating. Should he disclose it? Probably. Yeah, actually, now, if Brandon's going to be out saying why he stayed and they gave him a bunch more money, he he looks like a bitch if he doesn't disclose that. He looks like an absolute bitch. Probably is it expected he would be 100%. That position requires much more mental load and I'm sure time in office too. I mean, I don't know about the mental load, just like make videos and shoot the product. And then he doesn't need to do all this like religious posturing about what a good person he is or what a piece of shit Lucas is or whatever. Like nobody really gives a fuck. Just, shoot your guns and sell your holsters. I mean, he could just play it that way and he'd be like, yeah, I stayed here because they doubled my money and Lucas left. So, like, whatever, bro. That's what I'm doing. And no, like, who would even care? Who would have a problem with that? That's what's funny to me is like the annoying part about this is the holier than thou, posturing, moral high ground, all that shit. You can just say they paid me a lot more money and I'm I have more screen time now. It's just better for me. You know, too bad for Lucas or whatever, but it's working out good for me. You could just do that. All right, his interview with Focus Trip was painful to listen to. It was. You could tell he had no concrete answers to the situation, was never around. He repeated that a lot, not sure why he's making these statements a lot. Because, dude, this eats at people. This eats at people. He had nothing to say on the Focus Trip stream, not really, because he would get crushed by the Asshat brothers if he said anything really bad. So he's kind of boxed in there. And he's still eating shit in a public venue. Like his reputation is completely destroyed as we're like, nobody is liking this, what he's doing. All right. So yeah, that eats at people. And then they want to tell their story. They want to go out there and like fix it or whatever. Like dudes like this, they never know. Just shut up. If there's nothing you can say, just don't say anything. People are going to think what they're going to think. It just makes you look like a pussy when you try to sort of manage public perception of what you're doing. I mean, if he just drove on the path that he wanted to drive on, and look back 5 years later, it would be fine. Like people would get it eventually. All right, this is honestly disheartening, just how little integrity there is in this industry, especially from vets. Thank you, Ben. Aside from the jokes and drama, you keep us up to date and call out bullshit when you see it. Help us get better at shooting. Well, I'm trying. And like certain stories like the T-Rex saga like really fascinate me. Why? Because you guys know I like a little bit of conflict now and again. It reveals character. I've said that a lot. So you can really see what's going on. And as far as again, public perception, Lucas rose in a lot of people's eyes. Unlike, because of this, and the brothers, people are thinking a lot less of them and a lot less of Brandon. And it's got nothing to do with the family drama or the squabbles or any of that bullshit. It's just the way that these things are being discussed and communicated. If the asshat bodkins came out and said we wanted Lucas gone because we think he's a prick and he doesn't get along with people, like, and they just said it like that, they just like let it rip. People have a lot more respect for them, right? A lot more. But they just can't bring themselves to just say whatever, say what's true. It's got to be like they're, again, it's like this moral posturing that they do. All right. Let's see what else we got here. What is the evidence? Where is the evidence he's claiming to see? I'm not sure it exists. I'm not sure it's a real thing. All this over a holster company. Well, in fairness, it's a big company. There's a lot of people working there. I think there's less people working there now in fairness, than there were. But it's still a really big company. It's like way bigger than anything I've been involved in. Let's see what else we got. Way late with this. He promised an elaborate video explaining his decision months ago. It never came. Now this, LOL, just go get a SIG contract too. Why don't you? Yeah, it's not getting better for them. Let's go to the most recent video posted over at the Trex channel. Civilian belt fed versus a legendary M249 saw. Fascinating video, I guess. Let's go through the comments on this. When was this posted? 12 days ago. I think their new tactic is just ignore the problem and hope the casual customers that don't keep up with the internet issues keep them afloat. Yeah, that is. The lack of Lucas comments is suspicious. I'm here to read comments and chew bubblegum, and I'm all out of bubblegum. Oh, that's from Focus Trip. I like that's a good comment. I'll drop a like on that there, Focus Trip. The dirty civilian copying is getting crazy, I guess. Without Lucas and how shady this company is, T-Rex Arms really needs to just collaborate with SIG before ripping off other creators' style. The dude operating the saw in the head-to-head for the belts fucked up baloney. Yeah, okay. So it's the same thing. They're still getting panned. Not as much, but they're still, they're still getting slagged on the internet. I'll keep an eye on this one because, like I said, I think this is kind of fascinating to watch for me. Like, I really enjoy it. And it's like people always talk like, oh, the drama, like you don't like drama. This is the type of conversations that we have on the range all the time with like guys I know or just guys like, oh, did you see this like T-Rex shit? Or like, what's up with these Vogel charges? Like, what are they saying he did? Or like, we're looking at the latest SIG video. It's like, the guy gets out of his car, boom, gun goes off. You're like, huh, that's it. Like that kind of stuff. It's just the stuff that you talk about on a range. Like, well, hey, what do you make of this? Or what's going on over here? It's good shit. I like it.